Hi guys, I have some tips to share with you that will make life in general and home management just a little bit simpler when we go on vacation and when we return. There are so many things that need to be done to prepare for vacation. There's a lot that goes on in our homes that we might need someone to take care of, and then when we get back, all of those things are there waiting for us to do, and sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming when we return from vacation. So I'm going to give you some tips and things that I have learned that have kind of helped me not to, feel overwhelmed. So of course, when we first find out that we are going to go on vacation and we have the date set and everything, we definitely need to let our employer know if we work outside of the home, and that way you can prepare anything that you need to with your job, so that if you have clients that you have to wrap things up for, or if you need to show someone how to cover for you, if you have reports that need to be done, all of those things you can prepare well in advance, and that way your employer knows when you're going to be gone and they can prepare for your leave, and things will run a lot more smoothly if you just do all of that well in advance. Also, if you are a stay-at-home mom or you don't work outside of the home, just remember anything that you're on a schedule for. I think it's best to just let the person know who plans the schedule for the nursery duty or the lunchroom or anything you volunteer for that has a schedule. If you bring snacks for your children's sports teams or anything that you're on a schedule for, just let anyone know who coordinates the schedule that you're going to be out of town, and that way you don't have to find a replacement for you. They can just do that when they plan the schedule, and I know that at my church they really like to know in advance so that you don't have to worry about switching things around, and it makes it easier on them as well as you. So just think about anything that you're on a schedule for, and be sure to let everyone know, and it'll save you a lot less stress. Also, if you are planning to take your kids out of school during the school year for a vacation, be sure to let the teacher or teachers know well in advance, and that way they can prepare your child and let them know, what to expect. They can get work ready for them if they have homework and things that they can do while they're on vacation. Another thing when you're planning vacation, obviously you want to keep in mind things like final exams and giving your child enough time to study or big projects. There are a lot of things that need to get done around our homes when we are gone, especially if we're gone for more than a few days. If you're going to have someone come and stay in your home and watch your house and take care of everything in your home, be sure to ask them well in advance. Be sure to be looking, or if you have someone that always comes when you leave, ask them well in advance so you don't have to worry about that. If you are going to have someone come and stay who has never stayed at your home and taken care of it, have them over and show them everything. Don't just write them a list. I would have them come into your home, show them how things work. If you're just having someone mow your lawn and water your flowers and stuff like that, show them exactly where everything is. Also, remember your pets. Be sure to ask someone well in advance if you need someone to take care of them. Be sure to make sure all of your bills are caught up. A lot of bills now we can schedule, but I've had people ask us to hold on to a bill and mail it on a specific date so that it was paid, after they received their check, but before it was due and everything. So be sure that you're thinking ahead about your bills and make sure they're all paid so you don't have to worry about that while you're on vacation. You can definitely schedule your bills out so the money is taken out of your account, and you don't have to worry about any of that. Or if you need to wait a little bit and have someone mail it, just make sure it's someone that you trust, and maybe text them a reminder on the date that it needs to be mailed, because we've done that for other people before. Remember to stop your mail. I don't think that you need to do that really far in advance, but if you can just take care of it, a month or so beforehand, it's one less thing that you have to worry about, and they'll just hold it until you get back, and then you don't have to worry about someone picking up your mail every day, and then it's not sitting in your mailbox and someone knows that you're not home. Also, before you leave, remember to use up all of your fresh food. So be sure to clean out your refrigerator and get rid of any leftovers. Be sure to eat all of your fresh fruit and vegetables. And if you have some left over, either take it with you to eat or give it away, because if you leave it, it's really going to be gross when you get home. Be sure to look through your fridge and make sure you get rid of anything that could go bad while you're gone. Also, I really like to come home to a clean house, so sometimes we're doing a lot of things at the last minute, but I always try to clean up the house. I wipe down the bathroom before we go. I make sure all the dishes are put away and everything, because there is a lot to do when we get home. It's just really refreshing to walk into a clean house. So I definitely would recommend cleaning the house before you leave and making sure you put everything away instead of, you know, having clothes everywhere as you're packing at the last minute and things like that. I also like to do all of my laundry before I go, and that way I don't have laundry waiting for me and everything that we brought back that needs to be washed from vacation. A couple things that can't really be washed until the last minute: if you use a dish rag or a dish towel or your bath towel, be sure to hang all of that up so it can dry. So if you use a dish rag and you just have it all folded up on your sink, it can get kind of smelly and gross. So be sure to have that, you know, hanging up so that it can dry and it isn't going to be a real big problem when you get home. Now, when you get home from vacation, there is so much to do. You need to go to the grocery store. The house might be really dusty because you haven't been around. You have tons of laundry to do. If you drove, your car might be, you know, full of sand and everything, and sometimes it can feel very overwhelming. And I've had times where I came home and I wanted to do it all like that day. One thing that I have learned to do is to delegate. My kids are teenagers, so I can start telling them, okay, you need to take your suitcase down and start separating your laundry. And we try to always separate our laundry as soon after we get home as is reasonably possible, so that I can start the loads, because you can throw a load of laundry in while you're doing everything else. So we always try to unpack our suitcases right away. Another thing that I do is I try to write my grocery list on the way home or before I leave vacation. That way I can run to the grocery store and get things right away. On our last vacation, we actually stopped at the grocery store on the way home because I knew we had no food in our house, and I like to have a lot of fresh food, and I knew I didn't have any fruit, any vegetables, no milk, nothing. So I stopped at the grocery store on the way home, and that made it a little bit easier. Another thing that you can do if you're trying to save money and you know you're going to get home from vacation and you have nothing on hand to make dinner with, nothing fresh, one thing that you could do is well in advance you could freeze a dinner that you've made, like make a double batch of lasagna or soup or chili or something, and freeze it, and that way you have that to pop in the oven to have for dinner for your family when you get home, because you know you're not going to have any food in the house, and that way you don't have to eat out again. So just kind of think in advance about all of those things that you're going to need to do. I've been asked about my zones that I do if I'm gone for part of the week, or how I do those when I'm gone. And if you're not sure what the zone cleaning is, I'll put a link below that explains it, but I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So what I do with my zones, if I am going to be gone, I just leave off where I was. So if I was on zone 3 and we're getting ready to go on a vacation, then when I get back I'll just do zone 4. So I don't ever skip anything, because then it would really build up. And if I'm going to be gone, say I'm home Monday through Wednesday, but I'm going to be leaving Thursday and Friday, I usually just skip the zone because I'm trying to prepare for a vacation anyway. And the same goes for when I get home. If I get home in the middle of the week, I'll just pick up at the beginning of next week, because like I mentioned, I'm trying to do all of that extra laundry, go grocery shopping, get everything back to normal anyway, and it's okay if if you know you wait a little bit to do those. So that's that's what I usually do, and I don't ever skip a particular zone. I just pick up where I left off. I forgot to mention one thing that I would recommend, especially if you are going somewhere that is a different time zone than you, is to give yourself a couple of days when you get back. If at all possible, arrange your work schedule or whatever things that you need to do so that you have a day or two off instead of getting back and having to go to work the very next morning. It will help you to feel a little less overwhelmed, especially if you're trying to get used to the difference in time and, you know, all the things that you need to do. It just makes it a little bit easier. I know a lot of these things might be common sense, but sometimes it's good to hear reminders, and we're all at different stages in our life, so I thought I would do this video and hopefully you found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching.